Good morning, good day, and good evening to you all, people. My name is Jovaras. Some people call me Jake, some people call me Jay. Well, nevertheless, today is a very exciting moment for me because I am filming my very first podcast. And today's topic is business. Yes, you heard me absolutely right. So let's do a little bit of introduction. I am 16 and in my life I had already had about 4 businesses. And I am going to be talking about them very soon, just after the intro. So, and please just hold up a second and do not take me for some sort of internet business guru who just says do this, do that, because I did this. And if you follow me and be like me, your business will thrive. No, I am actually not that kind of a guy. I am here to show you that everyone, even a kid, can make a business and it can make profit. So, without any further ado, let's start. My very first business started when I was about maybe 8, maybe 9. And that was clay. Why are you looking at me like that? Unfortunately, I had to lay down this business and simply abandon it because, well, my teacher stopped responding and everything went downhill in there. But I didn't stop there. A few years later, I made another business, which brings us to the part 2. Jovaras-Reklamos paslaugos. And as I remember, like the all advertisement business, I don't even know what to think. It was the best fever dream I had in my life. For example,
Kągi, sveiki visi, su jumis sveikinasi Jovaras Vidugis po tokio ilgo laiko ir šiandien su jumis aš noriu pakalbėti apie grūdinimąsi. Taigi aš pats grūdinuosi nuo 4 metų, pirmą kartą ėmiau grūdintis pati pirmą dieną, tai kai iš karto kai pradėjo snigti, kartu su tėčiu užsipylėm šalto vandens kibirą. Na kągi, sveiki visi, su jumis sveikinasi Jovaras-Reklamos paslaugos arba Jovaras Vidugis, vadinkit kaip norit. Ir šį kartą mes turime visiškai kitokią temą – baldai.
Now, all jokes aside, let's talk about it very seriously. So, how it all started. It all started when I actually had nothing to do, and my parents recommended me to find a new hobby. There I filmed my very first video. Well, first 5 or 10 of my videos, the very first ones, were simple. I made them myself. I held the camera, walked and talked. About 2 or 3, maybe 4 months passed, and I had enough of it. And then I invited one of my friends to join me, to help me, and he actually said yes. From there, this idea, this advertisement business have actually started to get good. And I did that when I was about 10 or 11. And at the moment I had almost everything. I had sponsors, I had clients, I had an editor, a filmer, like a whole crew, and a Facebook page, Jovaras-Reklamos paslaugos. And I'll be damned, that was good times. But of course, everything that comes up must come down. Unfortunately for me, everything started to go downhill. Well, After my editor and the very same friend that I have invited, well, he said, I do not want to do this anymore. I do not receive any money, and he left me on very thin ice. And that actually was very sad and almost devastating, because just imagine your partner that you work for 1 or 2 years just decides to leave you. And it was actually a very hard moment for me. But of course, like in the first part that I mentioned, I did not give up. So I decided I need more. I need something better. Something that could be done alone. And that leads us to part 3. Business number 3. Used book selling. The scheme was actually very intriguing, even for my own tastes. Of course, I am sort of a book rat. Or at least I was. I loved books. From everywhere I went, I always had a book. Until this thing appeared, but, well, what happens, happens. But at that time, my parents punished me with that sort of a thing. Jovare, you cannot read anymore for this day. And that was the worst punishment from them all. Trust me. So, being a book fan as I am, I decided to go to a store that sells used books by a bulk. So that means I spent about 200 euros in order to buy myself four crates of used books. And then there was a festival. The festival was named Masters of Calm. My parents organized thing, and there they let me to sell all those books, that I bought for 200 euros. And I actually made some profit. It was about 150 euros in 10 days. Well, as long as the festival kept going, I kept selling the books. And basically, all I had was, a medium-sized tent, and there was a massive shelf full of books that were different genres, different themes. There was horror, fantasy, romance, history, even a few very questionable content journals. Of course, I am not gonna expand this very further. Anyway, what really helped me back there were a few things. First was my voice. Just all day I keep shouting to everyone, just like some sort of a Turkish vendor. Hey, come get your books here. I sell books. Do you want some books? Hello, get your books here. You will not be disappointed. And it actually worked. As long as I went and sit in my tent, and as long as I made some effort, people came. But of course, just simply sitting in a tent and doing nothing but shouting, come get your books here, was not really enough for me. I wanted more. I wanted to expand. I wanted the whole damn festival to know my name. And so I did. I committed paying children money to distribute my books. Basically, the strategy is this. I find a few kids who are just simply doing nothing, but they are a little bit younger than me. I say to them, hey guys, do you want to make some money while you are in here? So I can help you. You sell my stuff, my used books, to people. You just go to them and say, hello, do you want to buy this, or would you be interested in that? And for that, for every sold book, I give you 30% from the profit that I get. And you know what? Kids love that idea. They absolutely adored it. Do you know, in those 10 days, I had 7 workers. I was 12, and I had 7 young people full of motivation working for me. But of course, this business only lasted 10 days because when the festival ended, my stuff ended too. And I had to wait for the next year. But of course, I did not let my hopes down once again for the 3rd time. And I actually made another thing. I wrote a book when I was 13. The production of my book, Baigiasi Pusryčiais, or War Ends with Breakfast, well, in English, well, it took me about 6 months to write. Well, but to write is one thing, but to publish it, it's another one. I had to figure out how to make this into a stack of 200 books. So, my scheme was, first, I went to my parents and said, hey, could you lend me about 800 euros? Please, pretty please. I will pay off your investments. And somehow, some way, they said yes, because they believed in me and my cause and what I was doing at the time. So, when I received those 800 euros, I used them to make 200 copies of my book, Baigiasi Pusryčiais, and then I have distributed it throughout the Facebook or live events such as Masters of Kaln Festival. And actually, what I did forgot to mention is that this idea was a very big inspiration from my grandpa, who had actually written a book about our family tree and published it. And for me, that was that was a mind blow. That was, what? How could he do that? So awesome. And actually, I followed his path. And the last thing that I wish to talk about in my podcast is more or less of a motivational thing that I made up 5 minutes ago, but we do not talk about that. The thing is, when you are doing something that is a little bigger in the picture, for instance, a book, a business, anything like that, hell, maybe even a painting, you will always receive some negativity. There will always be someone that says that, man, what are you doing? This is time wasting. This is nothing. Stop pouring your life into this. It will bring you nothing. There will always will be someone like that. For example, some and most of my classmates said that when I wrote my book, that it was time well wasted. But I did not care. And this is how I succeeded. So, my best, only, and final advice: do not listen to negative people and do what you love. In time, there will be progress made and the results will show. Well, as fun as it was for me to talk, sadly, our time is over. I really hope that you enjoyed my podcast and we may see each other again sometime. I bid you all adieu. Goodbye.